Hey, monster.
Hey, stupid.
I
Bean's snoring really loud, so if you hear
can
it,
hear him already.
I know. Mashed potato, baby. Do you feel weird today?
I told you I have not felt right because I realized I didn't drink any water for like 30 hours. And now I think I'm overhydrated now.
I guess not health wise, but like mentally. I just feel like weird today. Like
Oh, last
unhinged.
night
Like
was not good mentally for me.
yeah.
I had a bad night last night. There was a lot of being too inside my head and looking at things and remembering, and just it was bad.
Yeah. There's some universe shit going on or something. I feel weird today. Like not bad, but like a loose cannon or something. Like I could just I don't know what. But like anything could happen at any moment. Like I could just like jump on the couch and freak out. I don't know. I just feel like weird. Something's weird.
Yeah, I am at a point. I mean, I'm always like this, which is I need pure silence or I need a cacophony of things going on. Like,
Yeah.
I either need pure silence and I can focus and read and research and do what I'm supposed to be doing, or need like a podcast or television show running constantly throughout the day so that my brain is getting some kind of input.
Yeah, that's me usually. But today with the construction outside, I was just going mental and then I was trying to hide. So me and Bean went in the bedroom at like 5 to hide from the noise. What'd you do all day? Oh, you walked to the bakery.
Walked to the bakery. I got two donuts, a half dozen peanut butter cookies, and a loaf of bread for $7, all made by a little Italian man
Oh
who's had that bakery. I used to go to that bakery when I was like 4 years old. Like I not
my
by
God.
myself, but like my mom and dad would take me.
You were lost at the bakery.
You know, one of my most traumatic events, there used to be a hostess like resale wholesale place over on DeQuinder, but you could
Uh-huh.
go there like it was there all through the 70s, and people would go there instead of buying your hostess in the grocery store, you'd go to the hostess wholesale place on DeQuinder.
Oh yeah.
One of my most traumatic only childhood memories is I was like 5 and my mom and dad took me there, and I was walking around and I had to go to the bathroom, and I remember telling my dad like I have to go to the bathroom, and he was like tell your mom, and I told my mom like I have to go to the bathroom. My mom was like tell your dad, and I remember like being really confused because I didn't know what I was supposed to do or who I was supposed to talk to, and then we had to
Hmm.
leave because someone at the hostess place saw little marbles of poop rolling out of the pant leg of my pants.
Ew, why did you tell this story? I hate it.
Because I was a little kid and I didn't know what to do, so I just pooped my pants.
Every episode is just a different way of saying that your dad was terrible.
I always try
Yeah.
and I always try and be like people were doing their best. I seem sometimes too, though I remember like I try and think of like at that time my dad was probably 25 or 30.
Yeah.
And I think about what a dick I would be with a 5-year old at 30 years old.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're that old and you have a dog and it needs to go out, you fucking take it outside. It's not hard. Like, that's one of the base level things of taking care of a human or a dog is take it to the bathroom.
Well, as
It's
we
okay.
know, my father, of late has told me like he didn't want me anyway and would rather have
I know.
drowned me when I was a child.
What was that story where he said he wished you fell off the back of the car?
Yeah, he took me. We went to a demolition derby up north when I was like 7. We had the family station wagon, and you know how you used to, as a little kid, you'd sit in the back and wave to everybody.
Uh-huh.
We were leaving the demolition derby, and the back door of the station wagon wasn't locked, so I was flipping the handle, and I opened up the back door, and I fell out onto the road, and they kept driving, and my sister was in the seat in front of the back seat, and she was like, Johnny fell out of the car, Johnny fell out of the car, and they were like laughing. My dad wasn't paying attention, and then they had to stop and turn around, and I was just laying in the road when they got there.
What didn't he say later? Like, we should have left you there
Yeah, oh
or
for
something?
sure, yeah, I should have left you at that demolition derby on the road.
Ew. He's the worst. It's weird.
Can you imagine, like, that would be in the newspaper now if a kid, if I'm sure somebody saw me fall out the back of the car.
Yeah.
There would be a
We don't need
TikTok or like an Instagram or a meme of like how to get rid of your
Yeah,
kids.
he's the worst.
He was drunk.
Yeah, we both had drunk parents.
That's the
My
other
dad
thing
was
I don't
cool.
take. What was that?
I said my dad's cool. My mom's a drunk. So we both had drunk parents.
And I do. I mean, that's a human kind of thing that I do where I do try and place it like I try and remember that he was drunk, but then I'm making excuses for him.
Yeah, for sure. You're not supposed to be drunk when you're doing parent stuff.
No, I mean, even when like I drink, but when I have responsibilities, I don't get drunk. And once you kind of choose to have a child, you should
Yeah.
probably be responsible enough to not be an alcoholic. Not that you shouldn't drink, but like
Yeah.
I gotta take care of a human being. I better clean my fucking life up.
Yeah, my mom started taking me to like bigger concerts when I was like 12, and I remember coming back, and it's not like any of the bigger venues are close, you know. And that was when we lived on the east side, so they were even further than where we are now. And I know she would have like a bunch of beers, then drive me the fuck home. And I didn't. I was so used to it when I was a kid, and then when I grew up, I'm like, I wouldn't even do that now. Like,
Oh,
why did she do that?
the whole reason I ever went up north with my dad was so that I could open beers for him on the way up north. I would sit because it was a '70s, so it was like not two seats. You had a large seat in the front seat of the cars back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
And I would sit in the passenger side, and where there'd be a cooler between us, and I would open his beers for him as we drove up north. And he would drink straight for 3.5 hours all the way up north. That's crazy to me.
Can you imagine? Like,
No.
I know, right? I'm already so bad, and you're already on like death watch. And then if I was drunk,
Oh my
no,
God.
no. I used to. This is shitty, but I used to drive drunk kind of a lot. Like when I used to go to shows and stuff, like with my own, like myself in the car. But I feel like I did it. Then the thing is, though, quite a few close friends started getting DUIs, and it really scared the shit out of me. And then I stopped. So I'm glad I stopped before it happened to me, and I'd never do it now.
Serious. It's so strange to think now, like, and you too, because you're part of this weird collective. Like, I am, first of all, my parents never got divorced, which put me in a weird club. Like, I don't barely know any of my friends who have parents that stay married until one of the parents died. Like, they usually all were divorced, all of my friends. But
Yeah.
I am in the minority of people that I know who do not have any drunk driving arrests.
Yeah, same. I mean, we should probably knock on wood there.
Right.
Um, but yeah, no, same. I feel like a lot of my friends have multiples.
I told you that one guy I knew has like 20 because he keeps moving from state to state.
Yeah. I could be telling this story while I'm drinking. I'm drinking go-go juice, the official drink of the What's Up Weirdo podcast. It's vodka and strawberry energy crystal light. Go-go juice.
You know what I can't stop thinking about?
Hmm.
I can't stop thinking about that sad plant,
Oh my God.
the plant that you insulted yesterday when we went to Home Depot, that you told a tiny plant that it was ugly. The only you were probably the only person that ever picked that little plant up. It got so excited because someone finally picked it up, and then you held it and was like, "Look at this ugly fucking plant," and then set it back down, and now it's just sitting at Home Depot dying and thinking that it's ugly.
Listen, it was so tiny and it looked like a little lettuce with bumps on it. It was so ugly, but I feel like I meant it like endearing. Like it was ugly, but
You're
it was
not.
cute.
You were like, "It's ugly."
No, but I almost bought it. Now we have to go back because you're giving me a guilt trip. Whatever. We got paint swatches. Um, I
Did
still
you
don't know
try
if
your?
any of them are.
Did you hold them up to the wall and see if they looked good?
Yeah, I've been staring at them all day. The yellows, I'm not even committed to that idea, but I am committed to the kitchen idea, and I've been staring at them all day. And then I find the color that I think I like on my phone, and then I hold my phone up and it starts all over again. But we'll get to it. I'm gonna demo my whole kitchen all by myself. I decided.
Are
I
you
can do it.
gonna? Are you using like an app to like see what your kitchen looks like with different colors?
No, no, no.
They,
I just
you
have
know,
a
they
vision.
You know they have that though, right?
Yeah, I don't need that. I mean, it's cabinets and a floor and walls. It's fine. I know what I want it to look like. I can see it in my head, and I think I can do it.
See things in your
'Cause you-
head when you say that.
What?
When you say that
What?
when you see things in your head,
Yeah.
how do
What do
you
you mean?
see them? Are they solid or are they
I
kind
can
of,
visualize like a whole room, like a whole everything.
but I mean if you were like to see it like see an apple right now,
Yeah.
is it a solid apple or are you looking at the background and then it's somewhere else? The picture of the apple is somewhere else.
I don't even know what you're saying.
When you imagine something, when you can say that you can see it in your mind.
Yeah.
So when I'm like looking forward right now
Yeah.
and I say that I can see an apple, but I'm really just looking at the things that are in front of me. But the image of the apple is like some undefined area in my brain. Or are you seeing an actual picture of an apple in front of you?
Not in front of me, but in my head I am.
But like, is it behind your head? Is it inside your head? Where is the image?
I
Like
don't fucking know.
spatially, where would you put it?
I don't know. How do you imagine anything? Like if you picture a car in your head that you like, what do you mean it's just fucking in there? I don't know what you're saying.
That's what I mean. I'm interested in when people say, like, are we all imagining the same way?
Probably not. I feel like I have art brain, so I see it in full color, full, I don't know, dimension, and usually with like a whole background. I don't know.
But I mean, I know some artists, like I have my friend Scott who draws cartoons. Like
Mm-hmm.
he looks at a blank sheet of paper and then
Mm-hmm.
he imagines the drawing and then he
Yeah.
traces over what he can imagine on the piece of paper.
I feel like I could do that to an extent, but not like I don't know. Not like a masterpiece. I usually have to look at something if I'm drawing something or like look at inspo. Unless I'm drawing things that aren't real, like your monsters, then I'll just do whatever, but
Weird.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's weird that we don't really have good language for where we see something when we say like I don't know, I think it's weird that human beings are still at this point where we don't really understand what we're each seeing and how we each see things and how we each imagine things.
Well, me and you had that talk before about how your mom had Alzheimer's, and we're like, they know what it is, they know what does it. How have they not fixed it yet? It seems easy, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know how we're this far along in brain stuff and they can't. And like people being paralyzed and shit too. It's like, can't you just fix it? I don't know. It's so weird. Shit's weird.
That's why I think it doesn't have, I mean, I know it does, but that's why I think it's not all about the mechanics and the like lump of goo that's in your head. That's why I think there's other things that aren't material and physical going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's all just stored in your brain. It's really weird for me that, like, a picture of a sunset can be stored in my brain. That's odd,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I know what you're saying now. Like we have like how you save photos on your phone in the cloud. Like you're saying we have a cloud.
Yeah.
I like that. I think we for sure. I mean, I know lyrics to a fucking songs that I knew when I was 13 and I can't remember what happened last week. So,
And there are lyrics in your head that you can't remember now, but if you heard a song, you would
yep,
immediately know those lyrics. They would pop back
yep,
into your head.
yep, yeah,
As soon as you catch the tune, you'd be like, "Oh, I know exactly what this is."
yep.
That's why I think it's weird when I travel, then I go into a city and I'm like, "Oh, I've been here before."
I know we do that all the time. I swear there was some when we went up north the other day, there was like an intersection that we drove to and it reminded me of a different one that we'd been in before and I almost said something, but remember, I don't even know where we were, but remember this was like a year and a half ago. I think my tabs are expired and there was a cop behind us and I pulled into that gas station and I was like freaking out. And there was like some kind of big like almost like Capitol building in the little downtown. I don't know where the fuck it was, but something happened just like that the other day and I was like this is like the same thing. And I know me having expired tabs and like driving like an asshole and being scared of a cop just does not narrow anything down for you. So that's literally why you can't remember because that could be any trip you've ever been on. Oh, but a couple days ago online, I did renew my tabs, so we're above a lot. We're
Oh,
solid now. We're above
congratulations.
board.
I just realized after talking to my dad this week, because he said he went out to get breakfast at his breakfast spot. I just
Hmm.
realized that I think that he was in the hospital when his license and tabs expired. So he is probably driving around up north with no license and no tabs.
For sure. I'm sure everybody up there is.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is I'm fairly sure everyone up there doesn't have a license and tabs, and
Yeah.
it's fine. And you can drive
Yeah.
25 miles an hour everywhere you go. You can basically idle down dirt roads and no one's going to stop you because everyone is on kind of up north time.
Yeah, and everybody's like 100. What are they gonna do? Pull somebody over and be like, "Oh, your tabs are expired." They'd be like, "What are tabs?"
That's the weird thing too, because I asked my dad about my great aunt Rosie. My great aunt Rosie is my mom's aunt, and
Yeah.
she still lives up north. She's like 97 years old. She lives by herself. She reads all day long. And then, like, twice a month, she drives like 2 hours to go to the casino.
Dang, that's a good life.
Yeah.
I like how you act like you're gonna die all the time, and then every story that you tell is like, "My relative's 100." Why do you think you're gonna die?
Everybody's got a couple of old relatives, but then you've got a couple, because I have friends that die at 40.
Yeah, well, you're not them. Everything's fine.
Ugh.
So I've still been watching 90210 every day, and I learned something. Okay, so guess where Luke Perry was born? Mansfield, Ohio.
Oh, there you go. Tie back,
Ah,
throwback.
I'm back. I know. So there's that. And then, so I Googled, I was like, dang, I wonder if he's buried there, but he's not. He's buried in Tennessee. But then it led into this article about his burial. And guess what he did? He, it's like his daughter was like giving the interview or something. He got buried in a fucking mushroom suit. What? So it turns you into dust. Like you don't get buried in a coffin, and then it breaks down any toxins in your body so you don't like poison the ground, and then enzymes from mushrooms eat your body or something, and then you go in the ground. It looks really fucking weird. It looks like, when you see those things of movies where like somebody's playing like they're in like a CGI suit with the little ballies on it. That's what it looked like. It's like black. It looks like that. I can't even imagine him getting buried in this silly like diver suit. But I got in the interview, his daughter was like, "I've never seen him more excited about anything in my life. He was so excited to just like secure this mushroom suit and get buried in it." And I was like, "Oh, isn't that cute?"
I think that's an episode. I could be wrong, but I think that happens in an episode of Hannibal, where they go out into the
Really?
woods, where they go out into the woods and they find this guy who's been harvesting mushrooms because they're growing on the corpses of the people he's killed.
I know, like the daughter had like posted a picture of mushrooms on Instagram or something, and she's like, "These have a whole new meaning to me now." So ever when she sees mushrooms, she gets like happy now. Okay, so let me tell you another weird thing while we're on the subject. Um, okay, so 90210 started in 1990. I want to say they were supposed to be sophomores or juniors right when it started. Andrea in real life as an actress was fucking 29.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
I know. So Andrea was 29. Steve was 26. Brandon was no, Dylan was 24, and then the rest of them were like regular age. So listen, so then by season 3, there's one of their professors is this guy named Gil Myers. He was like their English teacher or something. So then I googled at that point, Gil Myers was 27 and Andrea was 29.
What?
Oh, and wait, I didn't tell you the best part. Wait, I'm really building here. Okay, the dad, like the bald ass fucking Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
When the show started, he was 35.
uh,
I'm dead. Andrea was 29, Mr. Walsh was 35, and Mrs. Walsh was 42. So like I always was like, do you remember the relationship of like Brandon and the dad were like boys? They always seemed like homeboys, and I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, now I get it. He was fucking 35. Like they were like dudes. They were like the same age. Isn't that crazy?
So then that leads me to the thing that you and I talk about that we saw that you sent me on Twitter this week with the new
God.
Indiana Jones movie. And
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Ford is what, 70 something?
Yeah, he's pushing 80.
He's pushing 80. And then the female lead is like 35.
Yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. was like 36 or something. So she's, and I guess the article didn't really say if she would be a love interest, but you have to assume that she is. And so yeah, she's half his age. So that's crazy. But I did watch a trailer today with
But wait, you know what's weird about that?
what? Go
So
ahead.
the last Indiana Jones, which is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that's
Yeah, we
supposed
don't
to
talk about
yeah, but that's supposed to take place in 1957. So it's been 13
Oh,
years since that came out. So if they keep on track, this Indiana Jones movie will take place in 1970.
ooh,
Like that could be really cool and weird. But then you'd
yeah.
also have to bring like that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, like he's got 18-year-old Shia LaBeouf as his son, who would be 28 now, and they're not going to bring Shia LaBeouf back for this Indiana Jones movie.
Hope they're not. I hope it's not in 70. Maybe it'll be in like 60 something. I don't know.
I think it would be
I'm gonna
interesting.
watch
I was thinking last night it would be really interesting to like be in 1970 and Indiana Jones's like last adventure, whatever it is. But I think it would be interesting if it ended with in 1970 with Indiana Jones like signing a contract for them to make movies within the next 10 years about his adventures, which would then like
it.
the Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark would be the film they made about his adventures.
Well, that could just open it up to them making movies about, and then they would just bring in another actor.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be cute. Cause I don't know if I want to see him do another one after this.
Well, the other thing is too is, and I don't know how they're ever going to wrap this around too, but so in Indiana Jones and the Lost Crusade, the one with Sean Connery as his dad,
Yeah,
they have that whole thing with the cup of Christ and it gives you everlasting life and whatever like that. At the very end, he's got to find the cup of Christ, the Holy Grail.
yeah.
Indiana Jones drinks out of it,
Oh.
which means he's immortal.
Well, it certainly doesn't keep you from aging though, because he's gonna look older, unless they're gonna do that thing that they did for the mob movie with Pacino and made them all look young again.
Oh, that looks so terrible, though.
Why am I the only person who liked it?
That's
I thought it
so
all looked
terrible.
great.
I'm going to send you a YouTube clip where they deep faked it instead, and they took the CGI
Oh,
out, but they deep faked it instead. It looks so much better. So
mm.
much better.
I still loved it. That movie was boring as fuck, P.S., but I thought they all looked good. Like, I wanted to love that movie, and then it was so long and it was not very good. But whatever.
By the way, update news. Yesterday, when we were going to Home Depot, we drove past the storage unit where I had a storage unit with like 5,000 books in it and a whole bunch of junk. And I realized that it's owned by a different company.
Yeah. Did you
And so
call?
I did call. When they switched ownership, they sent me
Oh,
a
God.
notice and
Oh,
called
God.
me.
Oh,
And
God.
I mentally, okay, so I mentally have crashed because
Oh,
the address and the phone number that they had on file was the place I lived in before this place I live in now. I've lived here for
no.
10 years. So they switched ownership 11 years ago and they
How long
notified
did you pay it for again?
8 years.
Oh, man. Dude.
So that is long. All those books, everything that's in there is long gone.
Man.
Time. I
That's,
can't believe I literally thought like, oh, that's only been a few years. Like they closed 11 and a half years ago, went under new ownership and contacted me then with that address and phone number. And I never responded. So it just all went to auction. He said it either
oh.
auctioned off or it got dumped.
Oh. Are you sure it was only books in there? You didn't have like old like memory stuff or anything, did you?
No, I move all my old memory stuff. The books were always the hardest to move from apartment to apartment. So they always just
Oh,
got
yeah.
boxed up and dropped off at that storage unit. And then I guess I never went back when I bought this house.
Well,
So
just think of it like you had already said, like, oh, I bet it's all rotten or flooded or moisture, whatever. So just think of it like that.
I do. I do. I really think about that. Like we went through that huge Detroit flood happened.
Yeah. Yeah, like right around here.
Yeah. And so like I just write it all off as they were probably all mice
Yeah.
eaten and water damaged and
Yeah.
yeah.
That sucks though.
It does suck
At
because
least you have to drive past there and think about it anymore.
it was probably. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It was probably 2 or 3 thousand books were in that, and then a whole
Well,
bunch of shit
those
I
will build.
probably thrown away anyway.
Yeah, you'll just build all those back up anyway. That'll take you like 6 months, you psycho.
I think well, all the
Well,
important ones always come with me. Like I think that was a
yeah.
lot of. I think it was a lot of science fiction and detective novels and a lot of fiction books. So all
Yeah,
of my
that's what I was
research.
thinking when you were telling me. Like you would have brought anything like really crazy home
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
Yeah. But we don't like to throw things out, especially books. So you were probably just like, okay, all these can go there. It'll be okay. You're taking this well.
yeah. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it.
I know, really. I wonder where that went. I hope they didn't get dumped. I hope they were, I don't know. Or if they were, like we said, if they were flooded, then they did get dumped. Whatever.
Do you know about when Borders tried to arrest me?
No.
So I managed a Borders bookstore. Did you
Uh,
know that?
I feel like maybe you told me that before.
So I managed a Borders bookstore, and then at the end of every month, we would do what was called binking out books, which is books
Uh-huh.
that have been marked down so low they can't be marked down anymore. And then you bink them out of the system. You mark them to zero, and then you rip off the cover and throw them away.
That's so shitty.
So for months at my store, we would bink the books down to zero. And our bookstore was on Main Street, uh,
Mm-hmm.
right right in front of the Royal Oak Library. So we would
Mm,
bink our books down to zero. I would box up all of the bink down books, and then I would drop them off at the donation center at the Royal Oak Public Library so that we didn't
nice.
throw them away. The Royal Oak
Yeah.
Public Library sent a
Oh,
thank you letter to the Borders
oh,
Corporation,
no.
and then the
Why are they so dumb?
Borders came to my store, and then I had to go to headquarters, and they had to sit down. They told me they were going to arrest me for like theft of tens of thousands of dollars for the books I had donated to the public library.
That's first of all, that's horrible. Second of all, that's like when like grocery stores throw out food and then they like make people be in trouble for picking that fucking food out. Like, what is wrong with people? Fuck you, Borders.
I That's the only time like that was probably one of the scariest times in my life because I was sitting in an office and they had like corporate lawyers. They had like 5 or 6 corporate lawyers in there, and they were straight up like, you're going to go to jail for like 5 to 10 years, like blah 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 blah. Like I thought I was fucked, and thankfully, like I told them like I wanted to talk to my lawyers and get my lawyers, and this was right around the time when Borders was going out of business.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
they eventually just like just told me like they were going to fire me and they would contact me if there was going to be any litigation, and they fired me, and then they just never contacted me ever again.
when I worked at when I lived in New Jersey and I worked at Vans, I had like moved out of state for the first time in my life, right? And like the mall, it was in a mall and it would open and it was like, mall stores open at like 10 and nobody would really come in until like noon. So I would just like do all my like morning paperwork and then I would like, stock some shit. And then I would take like 10 minutes and like email like my parents or like whatever. And so I don't know how long it took, but I remember I there was no warning or anything. I remember I got fucking fired and I was like, why? I've literally never done anything wrong. And they're like, we've always had like the capability to dial into your computer when we see the time that you're spending in the morning emailing, and that's considered stealing time from the company. And now you're fired. I was like, cool, you could have told me that. I could have done that at fucking home. And I feel like I didn't even do it that much. Like, ew, corporations are disgusting. And
When I
I still
was
wear Vans. That's fucked up. I was thinking of the other day? Do you remember when we went to the Benton farmhouse for that investigation?
Yes.
Did you see stuff when you were there, or did anything happen to you? I remember we were not together for like any of it. And then I had two different experiences, which I will tell you about. But I remember you at one point were like leading a group or like talking to a group in the attic. And I don't know if y'all had anything happen or if you walked around by yourself at all. But like, I we've gone to a lot of super famous haunted places, and not maybe together, some apart. And I feel like I haven't really had anything crazy happen at any of the big ones, but like that one is like not that well known, and I feel like I had more happen there than a lot of places.
I honestly don't remember if I had anything happen or not. All of the
Well, the
old spooky buildings get mixed up in my brain unless it's something that I like take a note about.
Yeah. Yeah. The two things that I tell people about, like I usually tell my clients about like spooky stories, but I remember, all right, no, there was three things that happened. So it started, I had the dog with me, and he's super good. He knows when to be quiet, whatever. So we go, the way we started was we went in the basement because Greg and Dana were in the basement with like a small group, and they were doing EVPs, and it was really, it's an old farmhouse, so it was like dirt down there. So we go down there, and like the group was kind of towards the front of the basement. We were like back by the steps, and he was being really good, but it was like damp, like it was just creepy. So we stayed down there for like a couple rounds of EVPs, and I didn't want him to like make a, he does a chicken bark just out of nowhere. So I'm like, I don't want him to mess up their evidence. So I'm like, we should go upstairs. So we snuck upstairs. So then we went walking by ourselves. So we went through the first floor. Then we got to the second floor. And I don't know if you remember, but that place, like, I feel like the second floor had a thing where like all the rooms were in the center and you could walk around the whole perimeter of the floor and go back downstairs.
Yeah.
So we go to the second floor, and I go to the right, and you could look right through this big middle room. And I looked to my left, and there was like, I saw a lady in a black and white dress, and she did like a big elaborate like dance spin, like you would spin across a room, and like disappeared. So I was like, okay, saw that lady. It doesn't scare me. It's just like, oh, that happened. So then I kept walking, and then I went up to the attic where you guys were and sat and listened to you talk for a while and like took pictures of Bean and like whatever and stayed up there for a while. So then I go back down to like that middle floor and walked all the way around, and like throughout the whole night, like my flashlight was going out because that's what happens, and I had my phone and the dog leash, so I was like all discombobulated the whole time. So okay, so like I said, the hallway goes all the way around. So I'm like back around kind of where the steps are. And when you feel like you're in somebody's way, like you just know you're in somebody's fucking way. So I like, my flashlight had went out again, and I looked over my shoulder and I saw like the head and shoulders of three people behind me. So I thought it was like, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I know you're trying to get by. I'm just trying to get my flashlight back on. And I said that out loud. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I smacked the flashlight on my hand another time, and it came on, and I flashed it back to the people, and there's nobody there. Like the heads and shoulders were fucking nobody. So it was like, okay. So at that point I was like, I think I'm done. I've seen what seems like 4 fucking full body ghosts now. I think I'll leave. So I scooped the dog up, because all those old places have the steepest steps ever. They're not like regular steps, they're like a ladder. So I scooped the dog up, go outside, and like me and you have had this discussion before where we don't like to discuss like anything that we've seen on site because it just sounds ridiculous. You don't even know what you saw yet. You don't want to hear anybody else's stories. It just comes out wacky. So I just didn't say anything. So I go outside, and I want to say like you, or at least like Greg and Dana, or some people were out there smoking. So I like approached the group, and Dana's like, you're never gonna believe what happened. And I'm like, what? And she's like, okay, so we were down in the basement, we were all doing EVPs, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, it was in between sessions. Like we didn't have, we were just all standing there like resetting. And she's like, and we heard this audible growl like towards the back of the basement, like not on tape, like all of us heard it out loud, and we all flashed our flashlights to the back of the basement thinking it was Bean, and you guys were gone. So they don't know what growled because we were already fucking gone. So all of those things happened in one night. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. I tell people all the time too, and what you said is absolutely right, which is so odd to me, which is when you see something so clearly or have an experience, your brain just tells you it's a normal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, there's a person.
Yup. Yup.
Oh, there's some people behind me.
Yup.
And it's only in like the moments directly after that it's almost like your brain does it to protect you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like if you were to be standing there and see someone form out of darkness,
mm-hmm.
I feel like your mind would melt.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just see like flashes.
Yeah. So you see like there's a person here. There you go. Does enough. And now you can doubt yourself and maybe not go insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that's how I've always known that I've seen stuff though, because when I would see stuff when I was a little kid, I would know their whole outfit. So I'm like, I know I fucking saw something or I wouldn't know what they were wearing. I didn't make that up, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes it's obviously just a blob. Like in my childhood home, I did see like a couple different like just blobs. But I saw a full body fucking cowboy in my room when I was younger. Like, how would I know that he had a cowboy outfit on if he wasn't fucking a cowboy? Like, why would I know that? You know? But that only happened once. That was super weird. But yeah, I knew that lady had a black and white dress on. I saw it.
Maybe it wasn't a cowboy, but that's what the aliens showed your brain so that you wouldn't remember it was an
Yeah.
alien. They showed you a
Yeah.
screen memory of a cowboy.
I know, just something like known to you.
So you won't be
Yeah.
scared. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like a dripping fucking creature.
Right. So it's not some tall, lanky, giant praying mantis with
Slender Man.
black eyes.
We'll just give her this nice cowboy for now. Oh,
Instead of a giant lizard-like sack around his head, just make it look like a cowboy hat to her.
yeah, that's palatable. Sure. I know that was crazy though, because I used to see stuff when I was a kid, and I swear I hadn't seen anything else fully realized until Benton Farmhouse. So that was weird. It's like the big places. I think we talked about this before too. They're just like worn out, or they're just like,
Big places get tired.
yeah, yeah. It's the little
When
ones.
you said on Twitter the other day that you wanted to see a paranormal dog show,
Yes.
I wasn't joking. I literally 10 years ago used to take my night vision camera and live stream Charlie, my cat, walking around my house. And it looked like he was doing investigations. And I used to live stream Paranormal Cat. And then I came up with this idea of Paranormal Pets, where it was like a half an hour kind of crazy reality show. And now I know this sounds really crazy, but I thought people would watch this.
Yes.
And I still think they would watch this. You take night vision cameras and tape recorders and you put them on the animals' leashes, like dogs' leashes,
Yeah.
and you let them walk around the house for an hour.
Yeah.
Then you go back and you look at their footage and listen to their recorders.
Yeah. No, he sees shit all the time. I know he does. And he's been to more haunted famous places than probably any dog ever. So
I think it would be so funny because you could live watch, like you'd have 4 dogs all with live cameras.
Yeah.
And let them loose in the house, and then you'd have 4 cameras on each screen, and you could watch them live as they were doing it. And then humans could go back and look at the footage and see where the animals went. You could track them by location to see if they all ended up in the same spots in the house.
Oh my God, they could do like the thermal camera and see if the dogs are like hot and scared.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
People would watch it.
Well, who's listening that can help us?
No one. They don't care.
We're going to pitch it. And then you could have them at the end, like you could have like where everybody's sitting at a table and you give them the evidence. You could just have the little dog sitting there with like a fucking glasses on and like a little tie. Here's your evidence from our investigators. They'd be so serious.
I think it would be funny. I think you could pull off a season of it. I think it would be really funny.
I know. It would be like MTV's Fear, but with dogs.
But with dogs.
Like literally take my money right now.
And like you could also branch off, like I think you could do cats too, and I think you could probably get a, like, it would be funny to have a team where the team is like 4 dogs, a cat, and a parrot.
You could do like divination too.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah, and they could like touch different stuff or like see what they don't want to go by. Somebody's gonna steal this.
I know.
Damn it. It's fine.
I've watched a lot of my ideas just get stolen, but that's fine.
I know. Well, I don't know, let's shoot it. Carl, where you at? Let's shoot this shit. We'll just start shooting it.
Okay, so the dogs would be, here's what it would be. It would be the dogs would be the investigators, and then the cats would do like the tarot card pulls and like Ouija boards and stuff, because they like to push things around with their paws.
Yeah. Yeah, they could be like, okay, we'll be on the investigation, and then it'll be like when they call the expert or whatever in the other location, and the cat could do the divination and just not be there.
Yep.
Oh my God. Let's just start shooting it. We could just make it a YouTube show. I'll just buy a camera for Bean. What are we gonna do? We need another trip or something. What's our next move? What are we doing?
Um,
Oh, you know what I was thinking I would still want us to do is go on the Kennedy trip. I want
I'm
to go
trying to think
to.
of something closer.
Well, don't think like that. Why do we have to be here? We have nothing to do. I want to go to, what is it called where they live? Where the Kennedy compound is? Hyannisport. I want to go to Hyannisport and the Kennedy Museum, and then I want to go wherever around and then I want to go to Martha's Vineyard and see the Jaws stuff, and then I want to dip down and go to Arlington and then come home. Dude, that's so fun. New England is so pretty. We could sit on the beach every day.
Baby steps.
Oh God, we'll get the vax already.
I know.
I'm vaxxed and ready to go.
Every creepy CVS around here is unavailable for the vax.
All right, well, you'll get it soon, but I still feel like that's not what you're saying. You sound like you don't want to go regardless.
No, I want to go. I'm just trying to think of like something fun and not overwhelmingly expensive.
Yeah. Well, we don't spend any money anywhere.
I know, but the longer we're gone and the more days we're gone, the more it ends up racking up money.
I know we need a hotel sponsor. Then we could go wherever we want. That's the only problem. What money do we spend? We spend like $8 a day on fucking Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
We don't do anything. We don't buy anything. We'll stop at antique. Well, we stopped at an antique warehouse. I bought one record for $10. We don't spend.
I feel like there's also a thing sometimes for me when I shop at antique malls. I feel like when I live in the state of the antique mall, I don't buy as much because I always think it's going to be there later.
Yeah.
But when I travel out of state, I buy way more shit than I should because I think I'll never get back to this place.
Well, that's true, but we would have to keep it chill anyway because my car's not that big. So we would just have to that would keep us from buying shit too.
I think we should.
That could be like a week.
I think that we should take a 3 or 4 dayer and do what I was telling you before, where we go to Camp Chesterfield and James Dean's hometown in Indiana.
Well, when we go to that one, do you want to go to Belvoir too?
Yeah, maybe we could do that.
Yeah, because it's in the same direction. That's pretty far, but still, we'll think about it. I just need to leave again soon. I feel it already. That when it gets warm, I can't be here. I got to be in the car. Because it's like 11 hours away, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
You're asking questions that I don't have a map in front of me.
Oh, God. You've only been there fucking 20 times.
I fly there. It takes an hour. How's that?
Sorry, Hollywood.
You forget I'm part of the Hollywood elite.
I don't know. I'm really trying my best not to keep going back to it, but listen, I'm going to bring up another 90210 episode because I can't help myself. So I'm watching.
Your brain is stuck in 90210.
I know, I'm obsessed right now. Well, anyway, so there's an episode on the other day that I don't remember seeing when I was younger, and David Arquette was in it. Listen, and he was like this band guy. So Brandon's out with this girl. And they go to a club and this guy's on stage. And of course, this guy, David Arquette, used to date the girl that he's with, right? So they go backstage and David Arquette's trying to get the girl back. So the guy's just being super shitty. So the guy says, David Arquette says something shitty to Brandon and Brandon goes, "Okay, Axel." and then out of nowhere, like so serious, David Arquette goes, "Axl Rose is a sellout." I was dying. It was so corny, but I loved it.
There's lost your fucking mind. You know that, right?
I know. Listen, I've been trapped in my house for 1.5 years. I'm just trying to watch a show that makes me feel cozy.
We've all been trapped in a house for 1.5 years. We all want to be cozy.
Okay, so this is how I'm fucking presenting my feelings. It's safe for everyone. Everything's fine. Sorry to watch Columbo every day.
I don't watch. I watch Columbo like one episode maybe a week.
You couldn't even lie that out of your mouth.
I was trying to think of how often I will actually watch Columbo.
Okay.
Maybe one episode a week. I was watching something. What did I watch the other day that was... Oh, this is crazy. I realized the other day I hadn't watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I'll watch that. I fell asleep in the middle of Nightmare on Elm Street. It is so boring.
No, it's not.
The original one does not hold up.
No, yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
But Johnny Depp's in it. That's enough for me.
He's the only one in that. I'm sorry, I like everybody, but he's the only one in that film that's fucking acting. He's
Yeah.
giving it 100 fucking %. Everybody else is sleepwalking through that film. He's the only one that seems like a real normal kid person.
Hmm. I always thought Nancy was good. Is that wrong?
Fine, but not a great actress. And then her drunk mom is terrible.
She is terrible. She has a weird face.
I will say this: John Saxon is also acting his ass off in that movie.
Is that the dad?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
him and Johnny Depp are giving 100%, but nobody else in that film cares that they're in that film.
Did
And
I
Freddie
ever,
looks like a hobo.
did I ever tell you?
He looks like a fucking hobo. He just looks like a dirty guy.
Yeah, he's a fucking burnt child molester. How is he supposed to look?
It's the first film. You don't know that he's a burnt child molester. He just looks like a hobo off the street. You'd be like, no, he's just a give him $1, try and help him out, get him something to eat, get him a job.
Yeah, it's different when he's in your brain. Call back. How do you see Freddy in your head? Okay, did I ever tell you the story of how me and Angie almost got arrested fucking stalking Johnny Depp? Whoops.
No.
Oof. This was a few years ago. He has that stupid band with Alice Cooper, Hollywood. What are they called? Hollywood something. So listen, they played DTE. So then, okay, we're so fucking dumb. Okay. The concerts were back to back night. The first night we went to see Joan Jett, right? So we cased the joint because we knew we were coming the next day to see this Johnny Depp band. And it's not like you know how we are. We're not groupies. We're not going to fuck anybody. We just want the picture and then we want to leave. It's like the picture or it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, okay, so we're there the night before. Our friend plays for Joan Jett. We met her. She was lovely. It was a really fun night. So we made it our goal that night to like look around backstage and see how we would get in the next night when Johnny Depp was there. So I don't even know why I'm talking about. I don't know how many things I'm going to say on this thing could legitimately get me arrested, but so back behind DTE, there's the stage backstage, and then there's like this weird like work yard with like trucks and like this weird garage, and way at the back there's like a fence and like a dirt road that leads up to it, like an access road. So we're like, okay, we're gonna drive up this access road, leave the car here, come in this weird fence, and then go back, and then you're literally right backstage. So me and her, I swear to you, I brought fucking fence cutters. We both brought like fucking like bolt cutters. We both brought pocket knives. I don't even know why. So it was all going pretty great for a while. So we found the access road. We go up the access road. We ditched the car, but somebody had seen our fucking headlights. I don't know what happened. So we got to the fence in the back and it was locked, but it was like pretty wide in the middle. So her skinny ass squeezed right through it. So then I got through it too. We didn't have to cut the fence. So we sneak through, and I don't know if they had cameras in the fucking yard. It looks like a garbage yard. I don't even know why it's there. But we're about 80% across the yard, just booking it in heels. And this fucking golf cart comes barreling at us, and we're like, oh my God. And listen, we had tickets to the concert, but we didn't come in the right way. So I have the tickets on me, but we have broken in.
Right.
And they were really expensive. I got really close tickets. And I'm like, I'm about to waste all this money I spent on these because we're about to get thrown out. So this golf cart comes in, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And we're like, oh, we like made up this story like we were here the night before and we like forgot something back here. It was like it was so not believable. I don't even know what we were saying. So they're like, you need to fucking leave. They're like, get on the cart right now. We're calling the police. They're like, we've had reports of people trying to stalk Johnny Depp and security is high and you're going to get arrested. We're like, what the fuck did we do? So we get on the golf cart. They take our IDs on the golf cart. They're like, we're going to call the fucking sheriff. And we're like, oh. So we're like whining. We're like, can you not? I pulled out my tickets and I'm like, I have tickets to the concert. Can you just let us out? And then we'll go in the right way. And I'm like, we're not fucking threatening. It was just, I don't know what we were doing. So for some odd reason, they let us, they're like, you have tickets. And we're like, yeah. And they're like, have they been scanned? I'm like, no. So they took our IDs. They're like, okay, we won't call the sheriff and we'll let you just have to go back out and come back in the right way. So then they let us out the fence and then we're going to come back in and they're like, do you have any weapons on you? And we're like, first we said no. And then we got close to the gate and they're like, and we're like, yeah, we do. So then we had to go put the knives somewhere like psychos. And then we came back and they let us in. They scanned our tickets and let us in and we saw the whole concert and it was fine. But we were like, why the fuck did they let us go? And why? It was just it was like fucking, I don't even know what we're thinking. It almost worked though.
I have no idea what you were thinking.
I know, we were so close though. I swear, if nobody had seen us cross that yard, it was literally right to the edge of like where everybody just walks around backstage. Like it almost worked. And they were like, why wouldn't they have called the police? We literally broke in a back gate. Like they should have been like, you're in big, big trouble.
They
But
should
we're like,
have, yes.
I know, but we're like whiny and they're just like, oh, fine, go. Yeah, that was close.
We're lucky you had tickets.
I know. That was the thing. If we hadn't, and they were really expensive too. So it was like, yeah, I obviously wanted to go, but I didn't know it would be that big of a deal. Like we've met a lot of people like, sorry, we didn't know this was like next level. I don't fucking, that was stupid of me, but whatever. It was worth a shot. We got really, whatever. I don't regret it.
How long ago was that?
Dude, fucking not long enough ago. You would think this was a long time ago, but it was not. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. Oh, what is my life? But anyway.
Exciting and fun.
I know, hashtag worth it. I don't fucking care. I'm not embarrassed.
Get good stories out of it.
I know. That's the thing. I never think about what I'm doing. I just do it and then I think about it after.
You want to do something and you do it.
I know.
That's a big difference. You and I both have that mindset.
I know.
Once I have my mindset on doing something, I just do it. I don't really think of all of the things that could go wrong because I just want to do the thing.
Right. And if it goes wrong, like, oh, well, at least whatever. What else was I going to do? Oh, I don't know. One of our friends,
then in hindsight, you're like, oh, well, that was a stupid fucking idea.
Yeah, but was it? I don't know. If we would have got the picture, it would have been fucking brilliant, but whatever.
So a lot of times in hindsight, some of the things I've done, I think to myself, well, that was a really stupid fucking idea.
Yeah. But and me and you say this all the time, it's still worth the story. Like, I don't ever want to be the person at a party who doesn't have any fucking stories. We have a million stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's weird to think of stories. I think it's weird that you have stories that you don't remember until you remember them.
I know. That's why we were just talking about Johnny Depp, and I'm like, my face gets red. I'm like, oh, God. Here it comes. What, did you see that alien back tattoo? What was that?
Yeah, who is that girl that got the alien
chick
tattoo?
That's married to Elon Musk, isn't it?
I don't know who she is.
I don't really know either. Oh my God, I just remembered something else I had to tell you.
Did she get that tattoo because she wanted alien scratch marks on her back? Or is Elon Musk like an abuser and she thought that that's a way to cover it up?
I know it doesn't look good. I think it's white ink. So posting it when it was still red was not a good idea. But anyway, I wanted to tell you, you know that on Twitter that's been going around the last week, that little orange monkey that's like everybody's friend.
Yeah, he's eating grapes.
He's like a little, he's like a little fluffy guy.
Yeah.
Somebody quote tweeted it and it just said, he is shaped like a friend. I was like, that's me and Tenny's new thing when we see an animal.
That's perfect.
I know. I knew you would love it. As soon as I read it, I'm like, oh my God, me and Tenny are going to adopt that and say it about every animal that we see for the rest of our lives.
Animals are friends. I call them friends all the time.
I know.
Did you see that video of the little girl teaching her cats how to draw flowers?
Yes, I did.
The cats are just sitting in the chair watching her.
I know.
People are like, their paws are glued to the table. You couldn't get cats to sit still that long. I'm like, Charlie used to do shit like that all the time. Charlie used to sit like a man. He'd sit with his back propped up on the back of the couch and his legs in front of him and just watch television with me for hours and not move.
I know Bean's been laying here this whole time. He hasn't even been crazy. He's sleeping like a good boy. You just have to have well-mannered little nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say a nickname of his yet. What have I been calling him all day? I've been calling him Kenneth all day today for no reason. Kenneth. And I've been calling him like Reg, but not Reg like short for Regis. I feel like it's short for like region. So I'm like little Reg. I don't know what they're I don't know. Yeah. I feel like just some words are really fun to say and you don't get to say them enough. Like region is fun, and why would I ever say that word? So I'm like little Reg. Just happens.
It doesn't make
Just
any
happens.
sense.
Literally, what sense does anything that I call him make? It just happens. Whatever
That's
word
true.
that comes out, I'm just like, it just happens. It's my little babo.
I have to figure out what I'm going to make for dinner tonight.
I know I'm hungry. Wait, no, no. I'll be hungry in a little bit. I made a bunch of what is it? Like buffalo cauliflower kind of in the air fryer. We got Del Tacos yesterday. Dude, was your Del Taco fucking terrible?
It-
PS.
My Del Taco yesterday was not great.
Dude, it was empty. There
Yeah,
was no fake meat in it. I feel like we got a burrito and a taco full of tomatoes.
yeah, it was not great.
What the fuck did we get? Del Taco, get it together. Oh, we didn't talk about the plant ranch. Did you try it?
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, dump it in your
I
mouth.
I haven't tried it yet because it was warm and I want it to be cold.
Hidden
I can't eat
Valley.
warm. I can't eat warm ranch. Gross.
Hidden Valley came out with plant powered ranch. It's plant based, no dairy ranch, and I flipped out and bought. Okay, listen, this is what happened. I bought 3 bottles, and I was like, I'll give one to Tenny and one to Paterin and one to me. And then it got here, and I fucking cracked it right open and tasted it with my finger. And the second I tasted it, I was like, why did I tell them already? I wanted to keep all of them. So then I flipped out and I put the video on my 2 Instagrams and on Twitter. And then Hidden Valley Ranch answered on Twitter and they're like, we're so happy you're excited, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, DM us. And then they DM'd me and said they were going to send me shit. So now I'm like a plant ranch
I can't believe
influencer.
that you're going to get Plant Ranch
I know,
freebies.
swag. I know. So now I work for Hidden Valley Ranch and nobody talks to me anymore.
I used to have a fear of ranch from when I worked at that place, Jonathan B. Pub, because we used to make our own ranch. So we used to have to was like
Oh,
sour cream and buttermilk and all these spices and stuff. And we used to mix them in these like big Home Depot 20-gallon buckets. And we used to make a bunch of them. And one of the sous chefs, literally, he had a ladle and he had a gouache on the end of it. And
no.
that's what he used to mix the ranch dressing was an old gouache that was
That's the
duct taped onto.
grossest thing.
Huh?
The
What?
grossest thing I ever heard.
And so he'd sit back there with this boot just mashing all of this, and it took me a long time to like ranch because of that.
I swear to you, all growing up and like working in restaurants too, like you said, like when you would have to flip a salad bar, I could like not be around ranch. I couldn't smell it. And then I swear, like one time, literally one off time, I got pizza and they gave me ranch or something. I'm a weirdo and I like to dip my pizza in Italian dressing instead of ranch. And it's so good. If you haven't tried it, just try it. Anyway, one time they brought me ranch and I was like, fuck this. And for whatever reason, I tasted it and I'm like, why have I been avoiding this substance my entire life? And then I ate it and it's good. That's the problem. It tastes better than it smells. And if you're around a large amount of ranch like that, like vats of it, it smells so fucking gross. That was the problem. But anyway, the plant ranch is like better than regular ranch.
I think
It's
any
like
food that
so
you're around
good.
for, I think any food you're around for a long time ends up smelling really disgusting.
Yes, it just like hits you in your throat and you're like, ugh. Ugh. I
Like the
know.
girl I like in high school, the girl I dated who worked at Tubby's, and I told her we couldn't date because she smelled like Tubby's submarines.
You literally told me this story the other day and said you broke up with somebody because they smelled like sandwiches.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Every time like I would hug her and my face would go in her hair, it was like, ugh, it smells like Italian subs.
Ugh. That is pretty gross, honestly.
Pretty
I,
gross.
I don't judge you for anything. That's pretty gross.
It was high school me, so I wasn't nice. It was the breakup was literally, we can't date. You smell like Tubby's submarine sandwiches.
Well, no one is supposed to smell like food. I don't give a shit what kind of food it is. That's fucking gross. Ew. Bean has finally woken up and he's all stretched out, staring
All
at. I
right.
think I'll take him for a walk. It's still nice out, right? Probably.
I'm gonna make myself something to eat.
Okay. Good talk.
Good talk.
All right, I'll talk to you never because you're stupid.
All right, bye.